Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Challenging day today, a little bit. Having some technical challenges. I was trying to do a screen recording and put that into the broadcast in a way that you would actually be able to hear the audio. And when I did that, it's kind of messed things up a little bit. But so we'll upload that later. But in the meantime, we have got quite a few topics for today. I'll move over a little bit so that's a bit better spaced. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And let me see here. Does it tell me? No, I don't know why it's not showing. Do you know when platforms change how they do things, I find it frustrating. And what they're doing, the Restream is the platform that I use, and they've done something different. So we'll see how this goes. Trying to see if you can actually see this. Show on, no, I don't want to show that. So yeah, let me know, comment below if you are watching this on either YouTube or on Facebook, and you can actually see the stream. Because it doesn't, I don't know, it's odd, because it doesn't look like anyone's actually tuned in, which would be slightly odd. Let me just do a quick note. Okay. I just sent a note to Tammy because I think she's watching to see. Okay, yeah, so she does see me. Okay, thank you. Good to know. But for some reason, it's not showing any of your comments here today. Okay, eventually it is. I don't know. I think I've stuffed something. Well, that's always fun. We'll go with it as for today. We'll just see how we go. Not much I can do about it now. Anyways, okay, so I want to talk about Puerto Vallarta. So I'm going to be heading into Puerto Vallarta as of Sunday. Good morning, Angelo. Well, good afternoon, I should say. Good afternoon to you. Oh, sorry. We have breaking news. Okay, so this really doesn't make any difference to you unless you are coming up to Canada next fall, specifically British Columbia. But as of Monday afternoon, the BC British Columbia government announced that we are no longer doing time changes. Yay! I am over the moon excited about this. We had voted as a province years ago, that if we were to switch to one time zone, we would switch to daylight time. Other provinces, Bojangles was telling me, since the 60s, I think it was. Saskatchewan, for example, has been on one time zone, but they are on standard time. And so, yeah, we just announced that we are going to be sticking to daylight savings time. So come November, no more changes. Yay. Good afternoon, Louise, where you are watching from. So pretty excited about that. There's a lot of other provinces that are now all of a sudden saying, hey, should we change as well? And initially we had talked about it, that we were only going to do this if all of the West Coast had aligned on this, because it's kind of stupid to, if it's, what time is it here? Let's say in the winter, let's say December 1st, you decide to go down to the States and do some Christmas shopping. Well, right now it's 10 o'clock. Come December, this time of day will also be 10 o'clock. But in Seattle, you drive 2 hours south, and when you get to Seattle, well, once you cross the border, it's now 9 a.m. So they're still currently doing the time change. So that's going to be interesting for businesses and trade purposes. But we'll see how we go. Personally, I think it's best if we were to move to standard time. That would affect 8 months out of the year, because really, and I guess I'd never thought about this, we only do standard time for 4 months out of the year. 4 months. So do we change for 8 months, or do we change for 4 months? That would be, sorry, we'll do it that way. 8 months or 4. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And also, the birds start chirping at 4 a.m. So if we were to go on to standard time, that would be 3 a.m. I don't need to be waking up at 3 a.m. to start my day. And also it would mean that for certain months of the summer, certain months in the summer, basically it's dark out by 7 o'clock. Well, that kills outdoor sports. Yes, I understand that some fields have lights, but most of them do not. Also things like golf. I mean, we golf year round here. So I think it's a great thing, but there's a lot of controversy over it. But it's super exciting for me. I know y'all don't care, but I'm happy, and I wanted to share that with you. So going back to our topics. Okay, Puerto Vallarta. So I'm curious from you guys, whether you're watching now or on the replay later on. I'm going to be going live next week from Puerto Vallarta. We're going to be there Sunday afternoon, evening, and we are going to be in the hotel zone, but probably we fly in on Sunday, so as of Monday, we'll probably be heading down to the Malecon and checking things out. I've been watching everything that's been happening, and it sounds like really the whole cartel was like a 24-hour thing. Some businesses were open on the Monday, some more on the Tuesday, and by Wednesday, from what it sounds like, pretty much everything was back to normal. So tours are still happening, although, there's a lot of people that canceled, they got spooked. Totally understandable. So there's a lot, there's less occupancy at the hotels, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And some of the excursions, if they need to have a minimum of 10 people, and there's like a million tours you could do. So if at the end, maybe a family of 5 canceled, and now they've only got 3 seats that are actually booked, those excursions might be canceled. So you're going to have to keep an eye on that. But we are heading into spring break season, at least, K to 12. For those of you, if you're watching John in the UK, kindergarten to grade 12. So that's ages, what age do they start kindergarten at now? I think it's like age 5. And then graduating in grade 12 would be sort of 18 years old, depending on what time of year you were born and when you start school. So, there's a lot of families that are normally traveling at spring break, and whether or not they were able to cancel, whether or not they just chose to continue on. Certainly none of the I didn't hear of any issues at any of the resorts, other than some of them were told, just stay on the property, you're fine, or just stay on the beach in front of the property and you're fine. So, I haven't really heard of any issues that way. And so maybe people think if they go, they'll just go and hang out at the resort, and it's fine. I like to get out and explore. So if we weren't able to get out and explore, we probably would have canceled. Now, we wouldn't have canceled because I didn't buy insurance. So we'd probably be going anyways. But of course, I'm going to be cautious here and, suss things out, see how it's going. But I am going to go live next Wednesday. So that whole 5-minute prelim was speech, whatever, was to say, where should I go live from? I don't necessarily want to go live from the resort because I don't know if you care. The resort that we're staying at is intensely timeshare pushy. So we're going to see how that even goes. But there will be a review after the week that we've stayed there. This chain is a resort chain, and they have properties in Cancun and in Cabo as well, and they're very well located, and they're nice resorts. So I don't necessarily want to start out on the negative foot, but we'll see how we go. But anyways, I want to show you guys what downtown Puerto Vallarta is like. We all know that I cannot walk around too much because then I lose connectivity, and it's frustrating for everyone to watch. So I'm thinking to go to the Malecon where the Puerto Vallarta sign is, where I can kind of change the angles to show you, going towards the romantic zone or Old Town. I can show you the other way where all the statues are, and going towards the hotel zone. So I can, I'm thinking that's probably the best place to show you, the traffic, the tourists, that kind of thing. I will be going live at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Normally, so what'll that be? Normally that's would be 2 hours different. So normally that if we go at 10, that would normally be noon in Puerto Vallarta. So with the time change, I don't really know. Anyways, we're going to go 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So an hour earlier next week than this week. So that's all you have to remember. 1 hour earlier. And then that will ideally be the time that we are on for the rest of the summer. Barring any crazy trips or anything. Tammy is saying on the beach in front of the resort. Okay, well, guys, tell me what you want to see. You want to see the beach in front of the resort to see how many people are out and about? Or do you want to see more in the tourist areas downtown to see, are the restaurants busy? Are there people walking around? Does it have an overall feel of, is it safe? I mean, and that's an interpretive thing. Let me know. I got one vote for in front of the resort. So let's do it this way. Let's say, and I'll put a little caption here. Let's do a ticker. We'll add vote 1 for live, going live, front of resort at beach. Vote 2 for going live, downtown on Malecon. Okay, there we go. And what do we got? The pier with the big sail. Yeah, that's another option. Okay, so we can adjust this. We can edit, and we go vote 3 for going live in front of big sail at pier on Malecon. All right, save. There we go. Okay, so please comments below with what you would like to see. And if you're watching on the replay, that's cool as well. But please let me know what you want to see, because I'm just gonna go and show you guys. It's like I'll see it for me, but I want to show you guys what it's actually like. And then if you're planning your trip, then you can decide for yourself. Does it feel comfortable? Does it look comfortable? Hopefully it's not a complete ghost town. But again, we'll talk about that later on. Okay, moving on. So let me know where to film from. But I'm going to keep that ticker running so that people have a chance to see it if they're popping on or popping off. Okay, next up, Middle East travel disruptions. Okay, well, this kind of took me by surprise. I guess when the U.S. government sent out a warning for all of their states' people to exit the area. That was probably a bit of a hint that something was going to be happening. Hello, Linda. Anywhere that you're out of the wind with a good connection. Malicon sounds good. Sounds good though. And Christine, hi Christine, how are you? Said 2. And what was 2? 2 is going live on the Malicon. Okay. Okay, well, I will suss that out ahead of time, and we'll see. But again, I'm not going to do a lot of walking because I don't want to be like, and then and freeze, because none of you enjoys that. Okay, back to the topic at hand, right there. So Middle East, yeah. So a lot of airspace is locked down. People who are stuck there, and we're going to talk about the next. This one, right? Jeez, this is really hard doing it when it's mirroring. So yeah, we're going to talk about what registering, so that the government can contact you and let you know if like basically get out now. So this is going to affect travel. We're a little bit concerned because Tammy and I and a bunch of others have this big cruise booked from Venice down to Durban this fall. Along the way, we stop in Jordan, Petra. Well, Petra's aside, just a wee little 8-hour or 9-hour side tour. Interestingly enough, Tammy, if you look on MSC and me, that tour is not even listed right now. So, and MSC, I don't even know. We have documented the steps along the way. They're very difficult to deal with. Very, very, very. Communication is no bueno. And yeah, so I don't know. I think they're just going to keep an eye on things, but probably just not allowing anyone else to book any tours in the meantime, because why complicate things? If it's not going to be safe, here's the thing. That cruise is a repositioning cruise. So it goes from Venice down to Durban. And then from there, it's kind of like, the Alaska season. At some point, they got to get the ships up here to Seattle or Vancouver in order for those cruises to go up to Alaska and back. And so if you don't get up to Vancouver or Seattle, that whole season is lost. That's huge, massive, millions of dollars in revenue, hopefully for them. If it's not, then why bother? And so same thing with Durban. So on the east coast of South Africa, their little mini party cruises are from Durban to, say, Mauritius or Madagascar or Seychelles. And these are, like I said, 3 to 5 day cruises, kind of party cruises, but they are happening back to back to back to back to back. So they really need to get that ship down there no matter what. So my guess is, if this situation is not resolved by November, by probably October or even September, that they will reroute us. I think it's a possibility is that they would, instead of going which way? Okay. I don't know. Okay. Basically, instead of going to the East Coast, they would go to the West Coast, so that we wouldn't go through the Suez Canal. We wouldn't stop in Jordan. We wouldn't stop in Egypt. But we would go down the west coast of Africa, which would still be very interesting. It's just that there were a lot of boxes ticked on a lot of the ports that we were going through on the east side. On the flip side, we don't need to worry about the guys on the boats who try to, like the captain. What was his name? Captain Phillips? What was that movie? Tammy, do you remember, with Tom Hanks, where he was the guy on the, I don't think it was an MSC ship. I think it was a Maersk, however you say that, a cargo ship, and they had not bandits, but guys from the eastern tip of Africa who were trying to hijack the ship, basically. Very interesting story. But that is, generally speaking, only on the east coast of Africa. So if we go on the west coast, that's okay too. So time will tell. But if you have plans for later this year and you are thinking of going anywhere near the Middle East, might be worth checking to see what your options are for relocating. And maybe this is not the year to be going to Egypt. Maybe this is not the year to be going to any of those places. Maybe this is the year to go hit the boring button and do Barcelona or Portugal or England. Stay away, stay clear of the area. I don't know. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you're concerned, Captain Phillips. Thank you. Really good movie, actually. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but my husband is not a fan of Tom Hanks at all, and he thought the movie was brilliant. So very interesting, something to check out. Definitely worthwhile. Okay, now speaking about all this, for Canadians, there's a program called Register Abroad. It's very similar from what I briefly looked up for Americans, called STEP, which stands for the, no, here it is. I thought I'd closed it for a second there. Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. So this is run by the U.S. Department of State, and basically what happens is you enroll in it, and when you do so, you are basically registering with your government, your name, your contact info, emergency contact info, so someone who's important to you who is not traveling with you, the dates of your travel and your destinations. And you can, even if you're doing a tour of a bunch of different places, you can put all of that in. And then the Canadian or American government knows where you are, and they can contact you in the event that there are, safety updates needed, or if there's a natural disaster or civil unrest, they can let you know about this. So I did this for our most recent trip. I haven't really done it in the past. I'm going to Cancun or whatever, but Puerto Vallarta, this is a really good example. For Canadians or Americans who were in Puerto Vallarta during the cartel retaliation, so we call it, they were able to communicate with people. So for that, you're going to need to have a data package, right? But provided that you do, then they can be in touch with you either that way, like texting you, or via email, and tell you what your options are. So it's a great thing to do, especially if you're heading and let's be honest, guys, these days, there's nowhere that's really 100% safe. There's no, where are you going to go? I mean, we have gang shootings where I live. Tumbler Ridge, massive, massive shooting. One of the, I would argue it's probably one of the worst in Canadian history, because we don't really get mass shootings. There's, we have our own cartels or drug gangs and whatever, but, no matter where you're going, it's probably not a bad idea to be able to, at least because like I said, when we were in England, they were warning us about protests in Italy for the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. So, not a bad thing to know what's going on around you. And also, if they send you a little link that says, hey, in case you need us, here's our phone number, here's where the embassy is located, so you can come and seek refuge. These are not bad things, right? This is kind of, it's like, how many of you know how to say, help me, in Spanish? Now, presumably you've all been to Mexico at some point in time, but do you know how to say, help me? If you yelled help, I'm pretty sure most Mexicans would get that there's an issue. But yeah. Oh, Christine says, yep, she registered with STEP for her Italy, France, and Spain cruise. Yeah, perfect. Why not? It's kind of the same as letting your parents know what's going on, where you're traveling to, or letting your friends know. Any loved ones, like, hey, heading to wherever, heading to Puerto Vallarta. So of course that's got everybody freaked out. Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's your folks, because they're going to worry more than anyone, maybe you tell them after you get there so they don't worry ahead of time. So yeah. Oh, Angelo. Necesito, muy importante. The problem is, baño. If you say, ¿Dónde está baño? El baño. They're probably going to reply in Spanish, and then like, this way, that way. Because if they say down the hallway to the left and across the lane, can you translate that? I mean, you can if you got the earbuds. Not if they're speaking Spanish in 𝖠ki𝗂. I learned that the hard way because they speak so fast. But ayúdame, AYUDA, me, M-I, help me, ayúdame. So I'll just go ahead and type that. Me. AYUDA, me. And we'll put it phonetically. You, the. There you go. Spanish lesson for the day. So, yeah, like I said, if you're planning on any trips, really, like even Punta Cana, we're going to talk about that next. Tragically, there was a bus trip, and it wasn't the bus transfer taking them from the resort back to the hotel. It was taking them from the air. Sorry, it wasn't. It was not taking them from the airport to the hotel. It was not taking them from the hotel to the airport. The accident happened after leaving the airport en route to the hotel. We don't really know much about this. There's, again, those who registered, and also Sunwing has the manifest. We know so much from all these TV shows about plane crashes and stuff, right? So Sunwing's trying to get it, or is being in touch with the families, and it sounds like it was a pretty bad crash. So there's a lot of people that were very seriously injured. We don't know. I don't know. Was it one of those random things, like it was raining and they slid off the road? Did some bad driver run into them? Were they sideswiped? Was it driver error? We have no idea. This has not been shared as of yet. But it's pretty sad. Will this stop you from going to Punta Cana? It shouldn't. I mean, unless we find out there was something nefarious going on. But if it was just a random accident, I mean, a friend of mine, her kids were in a massive car crash the other day. Both are fine, but the car was totaled, and everybody who's seen the car wreck says, like, how did they even walk away from that accident? So it can happen. Again, it can happen anywhere. Angelo said, I actually use my earbuds while at Universal Studios in Orlando to communicate with a Brazilian family speaking Portuguese. Wow, clever. Now, were you doing a two-way conversation, and were you just showing them your phone, or was it reading it out to you in Portuguese and then you repeated it? I'm curious about that. I really haven't used them for translation much. Probably will a little bit more in Puerto Vallarta, because if memory serves me correctly, I think Puerto Vallarta is a little bit slower. I could be wrong. I know one coast is way faster than the other, and something tells me I might be totally wrong on this. It might be that the West Coast speaks faster, generally speaking. Kind of like me if I've had a little bit of coffee or hot chocolate. Not actually, I had a blend of coffee and hot chocolate, just for a little pick-me-up today. I haven't had any coffee, and this might be the first one this year. Oh, cheers. And having a good dollop of whipped cream on there is always a treat as well. Interestingly enough, whipped cream has very little calories. But get the real stuff. Tim Hortons, don't get the coffee there, or don't get the whipped cream there. I don't know what that chemical product is. It's probably a cross between however they make Kraft cheese singles, American cheese, because you can't melt that stuff. I mean, you can melt it if you put it on a burger and it melts over top because of the heat, but you put that stuff under a broiler and it just becomes like a plastic cap over top. It's the most bizarre thing. It's not really real cheese. But I do like the flavor. I agree with Sam the cooking guy. I agree with Guga. If you're having a burger, it's got to be American cheese. What do you think? Thumbs up for American cheese, processed cheese, or thumbs down and you got to have real cheddar? Tammy, I think you're a real cheddar person. For me, American cheese all the way. Two-way. Okay, so talking about his using the earbuds for translation. I gave them one earbud. Oh yeah, well, I don't want to share my earbuds. Like, it's been in your ear. I mean, I guess it's just your ear, but I would. You're braver than I am. Well, I've said that before. We all know that's true. I gave them one earbud and I had the other one, and it was saying it in my ear in English and it was speaking Portuguese in their ear while I was talking in English. Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, technology has really come so far. It's pretty amazing what we can do. I mean, pretty soon we'll probably have implants in our heads or something that allow us to translate. And wouldn't that just be amazing? The world would become, I think, such a smaller place in a good way. I don't know what you think. Yeah, real cheddar, real cheddar. Yeah. Oh, Christine. Okay, Christine. See, we're on the same page. Processed cheese, yes. Closed door bathrooms, yes. And I do still have in the link below, in the description below, if you're on a computer or on mobile, you can click to see the description, and in there I still have the link to the bathroom webpage where you can see if a resort or a hotel has been listed as one having a non-door situation. Because don't give me a pony wall. No. But yeah, thumbs up on the American cheese. Okay, so I have a couple more topics. So we're going to talk about Cuba, and then we're going to talk about occupancy and in Puerto Vallarta and how that's affecting things. But just real quick, for those of you who are watching in Canada, I did see an ad from this, and they're not the Ministry of Tourism of Cuba. So they were advertising that, and the company is called, what is it? That's not Hollis Sun that's doing this. It's a different travel agency, and I closed the link. Sorry. It's like Travel Abroad something. And they are advertising for trips to Cuba. And it's really stupid because it's basically like you have to make like 14 connections and in order to get to Cuba. And once you do, they're basically just saying, hey, you can go. And the beaches in Cuba are beautiful. I mean, they are stunning. If you're American, of course, you still cannot go to Cuba. But if you, and Louise is saying, Louise is all for real cheese as well. There you go. But what irritated, and I became a keyboard warrior. I admit it. I did. I couldn't help myself. I thought I shouldn't be typing this. Send. I couldn't not. So basically, they're rerouting people through Havana, through Mexico, through where was the other place? Through Miami and through one other place, like something stupid. So once you've done all these 45 connections to get to Cuba, you can go there. And it was listing, this hotel's still open and this hotel's still open. I mean, guys, this is right now, they have no fuel. because the American government has put an embargo on them, so they have no airline fuel. None. So if your plane gets there and doesn't have enough fuel to come home, it's stranded there. I'm sure there's some workarounds, but I mean, you want to get stuck there? I mean, it's a beautiful place to get stuck, but nonetheless. And also their supplies are just in a bad way because, again, a lot of their supplies used to be coming from Venezuela. That's been cut off. Certainly nothing coming from the States, but even, from Puerto Rico or from Canada trying to help them out, well, then that's going to create friction. So, but what the gist of it was, where this bothered me, is this company is advertising trips to Cuba and basically workarounds on how to get there without acknowledging the lack of amenities that are available. And also the thing is, if as a resort, they're going to try to provide resources for the tourists, but that's taking away from the people who live there. So yeah, I need my French fries and my hot dogs and my beer. But if that means that the people who live there don't have access to any potatoes or certain meat products, ethically, also, and most important, so that was part of the issue, but most importantly, and this thing didn't address this at all, if you go to a country where your government has put it at a level 4 warning, which would be like DEFCON 2, because DEFCON goes highest to lowest number being imminent war kind of thing. And so, but works the opposite with travel warnings. So level 4 is basically avoid all non-essential travel. And if you travel when a warning like that is in place, then travel insurance won't cover you. So, again, me being keyboard warrior, I basically said, like, unless you got, $20,000 or $30,000 hanging out in your bank account, you really ought not to be going, because if something happens, you're walking on the beach and you step on a broken shell and you slice your foot. For example, in Mexico, I know for a colleague that cost her $5,000 or $6,000 US converted. And she had insurance, so it covered her. If you're in a country where they've advised against non-essential travel, and certainly tourism would be non-essential, then that's out of your pocket. Just for simple stitches on the arch of her foot is what she needed. So, that's a pricey endeavor. Have a heart attack and sell your house. Create a GoFundMe. I mean, this is getting into big bucks. So my biggest issue there was, again, just you got to tell people that if they want to travel to why are you forcing the issue? And also, you've got a fiduciary duty. You have a legal responsibility to tell people that they won't be able to be covered under their travel insurance for anything. It's travel insurance, not to slag them off, but insurance companies, if they can get out of paying a claim, they will, right? I mean, everybody knows this isn't rocket science. Yeah, you're right, Louise. The beaches are absolutely beautiful, but they have for some time had issues with supply, like no salt, limited fruit, Fortunately, they make coffee there, so I guess coffee was never a problem, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, rant over. Okay, now I wanted to also talk about, and we'll do this, we'll switch to this for a second, and we'll get rid of this. There we go. Okay, so random topic. I wanted to address this. So again, occupancy in Puerto Vallarta. So I'm in a couple of Facebook groups. I'm in far too many Facebook groups overall, but specifically talking about Puerto Vallarta. Um, Luis says, yeah, there are nice beaches elsewhere that are without starving yourself. Uh, Too bad Cubans are really nice. Yeah, yeah. And I know somebody who's got family there, so I'm kind of curious. I want to reach out to her. Oops. I want to reach out to her and find out what her extended family thinks about this whole situation. Are they unhappy with the government? I mean, they get free housing, they get free education, and your housing, from what I've been told, is dependent on the career you choose. So, for example, a lawyer or a teacher or a doctor are considered very important roles, and so they're going to get a better house given to them by the government than if you're a server or a hairstylist or something. So it's interesting. But anyways, like I said, I need to reach out to her to find out a little bit more about that situation. So I'm speaking with some education about the issue, because I don't know. I don't live there. I don't know. Okay, so random topic. Going back to Puerto Vallarta. So, like I said, I'm heading to the Rio Palace Pacifico, and been watching, what's been happening. They really had no issues. Like they said, the Sunday that there was all the cartel activity, they were still hanging out at the pool. They were on the beach. And the Rio Palace Pacifico is located, there's the three properties, the Rio Palace Pacifico, the Rio Vallarta, and the Rio Jalisco. The Vallarta and the Jalisco are non-palace rios, so they're classic rios. So more domestic brand alcohols, that kind of thing, and more basic food. But they're all in the same area, and they're all located in Nuevo Vallarta. So they really had no issue. But depending on where the staff live, it could be an issue during the issues, during the violence. Some of them weren't able to leave the resort, so the resort had to make accommodation for the staff, the employees, to keep them safe. And so there was a little bit of issues with that. So they did have the buffet open for dinner on that Sunday, but they didn't have any of the a la cartes open, is my understanding. And then looking at the availability for, let's say, this current week, you can go into the Rio app and you can actually see which menus are available. You can also see which restaurants are open and which days they're open. You can also see what is on the menu. You can see the bars. You can see what drinks they have, like what brands of alcohol they have. You can do this for any Rio property. So if you're looking at going to the Rios in Aruba, they're side by side. They're both palace, and I think they're both now elite club resorts. So kind of on par with each other, but which one do you want? Because as we know, whichever one you're staying at is where you can go to the a la carte restaurants. So if you're staying at the Rio Palace Aruba, you cannot go to the Rio Palace Antilles and enjoy any of their a la carte restaurants. You can't. And this could change tomorrow. I haven't heard of any rumors of this, but as of today, and that's the same with any of the Rios. You can only enjoy the a la carte restaurants at the property at which you're staying. So, like I said, if you're going to Aruba, you might want to look at the menus on each of them. And if you really think, oh, every time I go on vacation, I want to have Tammy, sashimi. So, then you want to take a look at the Asian restaurants and see how those compare. Because if one of them is more like American Chinese food, or North American, we'll say, Canada is no different in that respect. We got our spring rolls and our chicken fried rice, which is not necessarily anything authentic. You can get, because we have a large Asian population, so you can get proper, Asian dishes here. But, for the most part, you're going to like golden dragon or golden panda or whatever, and you're getting sort of a dumbed down version of the authentic meal. So you want to compare that. Maybe that's what you're craving, is you want like the easy kind of chicken fried rice. I do enjoy that, actually. I really do. And my husband, who hates food court meals, he almost always gets Chinese food when we go. If we are going to eat at a food court, that's what he wants. Okay. So Tammy said she didn't see any menus on the 𝗇우 app on my phone. So I'm going to show you. So for example, I do have a video of this, which I'll upload in a second. And this is what caused me some issues when we kicked off the show today. But so this is the app that you want. This one here, the 𝗇우 app, the red one. And then I'm going to get this little video going for you, to show you how you can go and you can see for any resort, the different resorts. I showed you in the video, I'll show you how you can see each restaurant's hours of operation, menu, and then also you can look at the different bars and you can see what alcohol they have. What I didn't show you in there is you can also scroll down and you can see the activities calendar, and you can even see the ри우 parties and find out. So for example, Puerto Vallarta is weird because despite their having 3 properties that are quite close to each other, they only have 1 ри우 party per week, and it alternates between, if I'm not mistaken, the glow party and the white party. And when Tammy and I are going to be at the ри우 in a few weeks' time, it's going to be a white party, which generally speaking means the type of music that they tend to play is more like 80s theme music. Love that. That's yeah, I know, and I swear to like everybody who sees that says the same thing. I don't even notice it anymore. How bad is it? Yeah, 311 unread messages. But a lot of that, like I have on my phone, I've got my my spammy email. So I've created a separate Gmail account. And that is, when you go into the Gap and they're like, would you like to get 10% off of your order today if you give us your email address? And now before I used to be like, no, screw that. Like, I don't need to get more spam emails. I already had 1 million. And give us your phone number. And then you're going to just like all day long. It's like random spam calls, which fortunately you can block, but not if they're using a blocked number kind of thing. But yeah, the spam emails. So, like if I'm getting an email from KFC or Tim Hortons or The Gap or Banana Republic, and it's like, oh, we got a sale on today. I don't even open it because I just really don't care unless I'm craving KFC or something. So yeah, totally get it. Sorry for that. Okay, let me get this video rolling for you to show you what you can see. Add scene, media, video. And this is probably going to play right away. When it does, I can't talk at all. So I can't talk until the recording's finished. It's about 3 minutes. So let's have go. Oh, and I think I might need to change. All right, so this is the ри우 app, and you can see on here, you can click I'm at hotel, and then you select your hotel. You don't have to be there, but this gives you a chance to see what the resort has to offer. You can see everything from the restaurants and their hours of operation. We're looking here at the Crystal Restaurant. Limited hours of operation. This is due to the Puerto Vallarta issues that happened a few weeks ago, and occupancy levels are lower than normal right now. You can go through, you can see what is on the menu, and it gives you a bit of a description. I do find that some of these somehow, for some reason, are in Spanish. It just doesn't convert properly, but you can always look that up if you've got Translate on your phone, or you you kind of get the idea of what you're looking at, but it shows you pictures. And I will say that presentation is pretty close to what you see. So, you can take a look at what's available on the menu because we are currently experiencing limited availability of some of the restaurants. You might want to go in and, you might see that on a Wednesday, the only thing that's available is the Italian, unless you're Elite Club, and I'll talk on that in a second. I'm going to show you the Elite Club menu. When you click on it, it does take a second or two to populate. So just give it a second. And then, as you can see, the Elite Club menu is a little bit more elevated, with the steak and lobster there. But like I said, if you see on the Wednesday that currently the only option is the Italian restaurant or Elite Club restaurant, then you don't necessarily want to eat at the Italian restaurant on the Tuesday, because then you're eating there 2 days in a row, unless there's a couple of different menu items that you want to try. Now, we'll show you also here, you got to click back to get to the main menu. If you hit about the hotel and reverse back, it'll boot you out. You'll have to go in and select your hotel again. Not a big issue. Where you could see there that I did scroll down, you can see the bars and you can actually see the menus for each bar. So you can look at cocktails, fruit shakes. If you have a certain type of alcohol you want, looking here at the rums that are available, they've got dark rum, they've got spiced rum, these different vodkas that are available, some flavored ones. I will say that in my experience, sometimes they have extra selection above and beyond what is shown on this menu. But I mean, that's an amazing selection of tequilas available there. And like I said, you can check it out ahead of time. So if you're considering, should I stay at the Rio Palace Cabo San Lucas or the Rio Palace Baja California, they each have different menus. They're in the same complex, but they're slightly different. This one, we're looking at the sports bar menu, which is actually called the American Country Restaurant. That's a bit of a change that they're doing. But you can see they've got kind of basic diner type food. And you can also look at their late night menu. So if you do go out to Coco Bongo or something, or it's just a late night and you got the munchies after being at the disco all night long, then you can come back and have a bite to eat. But this way you can compare, because, for example, the Asian restaurant at the Rio Palace Cabo San Lucas has an entirely different menu than the Rio Palace Baja California. So you can suss that out ahead of time and to help you choose your next hotel option. There I am! Yay! God. Technology confounds me sometimes. Do you guys ever have these moments where you just feel like, what am I doing? Like, I just don't understand. It's good. It's all fine and good for those of you who've got teenagers, because the teenagers come up to you and they go, "Oh, mama," and then they are like, they go, "Yeah, well," and it's fixed, and you're like, "Oh, no, 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 wait, tell me what you did," and they're like, "No, it's faster for me to just do it. I got stuff to do." So, yeah, I'm happy we fixed that. That's very good news indeed. Um, yeah, so there you go. So that's the what's going on at the Rio Palace Pacifico. So I suspect that probably in Puerto Vallarta in general, there are other areas where there's probably, there's been less occupancy. I know last week some people were saying that they'd been told occupancy was down as low as 20%. Others were saying 30%. 20 to 30%, just for reference, when I go to a brand new resort that's just opened within the last 3 or 4 weeks, 20 to 30% is usually what they start at. So as Tammy noticed this morning, lots of lounge chairs available. So I'm very happy that I'm not going to have to worry about the stupid chair saving game, because I hate dealing with that. But I also need to be a little bit more strategic about a la carte dining. So this means, like, again, and I've already got, me being me, I have a spreadsheet or a sort of itinerary. So I have listed out for each day that I'm staying at the Rue, which restaurants are open on which days. And that's based on the current schedule. So again, if I don't want to eat at the same restaurant 2 days in a row, I can at least plan that out. So it's worth doing a little, planning ahead of time. I know some of you really like to just go with the flow. But, again, because right now the buffet for dinner is not open. Tabby said she didn't like doing the buffet for dinner. I don't mind that. Sometimes, you've just had too much sun, or you just can't be bothered to dress up. Although the Rews are pretty good with their dress code. No long pants required for men at dinner. Props to them for that. But sometimes you just kind of aren't feeling like huge amounts of food, and you just want to do easy button. And I will say that the Rios, when it's the Mexican night, they go crazy on their foods and desserts and everything. So it's just walk through. Well, you can't right now at the Rio Palace Pacifico because the dinner buffet is not happening. Normally breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So of course I hope to be able to film all of those for you, but we'll see what's available. On the positive side, we are coming into the peak of spring break. So I'm suspecting that that will increase occupancy, and that will mean that there'll be more restaurants available and more activities happening. So fingers crossed on that one. So we've come to the end of our hour. Thank you guys for all of you who have commented. If you haven't already done so, cast your vote for where you think I should film. Again, one from the resort, from on the beach in front of the resort where I'm staying. Number 2 for on the Malecon by the Puerto Vallarta sign, which is by the church of our church, Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. And also sort of the square where everything's happening. And vote number 3, if you want me to go onto the Malecon in sort of the romantic zone or near the romantic zone where that big sail is, where the pier is. So yeah, cast your vote. Let me know. And I will see you next Wednesday. But remember, we are switching to daylight time. So it'll be 1 hour earlier next week. John, for you, it will, for everybody, it's going to be, will it be an hour earlier? Yeah, you guys know how bad I am at math, really. You figure it out. I will figure it out, and I'll put it on the description, but I am going to go live from my phone so that I can be up and about and showing you around. So that does mean, of course, that I won't necessarily be able to post your comments, but we'll see how we go. So thanks so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't enjoy the commentary, thumbs down is okay too. Any interaction is good. It all helps out the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, here's my new line. If you haven't already have subscribed, do a 7-day free trial. Then you can see some of the videos that I produce, especially coming up. And if you haven't already checked out my community posts, let me know if you want me to film some behind the scenes stuff, even if it's just little videos on the community posts or whatever. Maybe some behind the scenes pics of what stuff is like there. Thank you for watching. And thanks for all your comments. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for watching. And bye for now.